Hi everyone, and welcome to the Beginner Breakdown Series Part 1. We're going to start off talking about the C scale, also known as the key of C. This is the perfect place to start as a beginner. We're going to cover the full scale, all of the notes in that scale, as well as we're going to talk about all the chords within that scale or key signature as well. So let's jump right into this lesson and get started. All right, we're going to jump right in talking about our finger numbers. So you can just take your right hand and your left hand if you want to just put them in front of you. Your thumbs are going to be fingers number 1. Your pointer fingers are going to be fingers number 2. Our middle fingers are going to be fingers number 3. Our ring fingers are going to be fingers number 4. And then our pinkies are going to be fingers number 5. So congratulations, you just learned your finger numbers. I know that's super easy. But that's going to be important. We're going to refer to what finger numbers we're going to use when we get to playing some chords here in the key of C. So speaking of the key of C, let's go ahead and talk about what the key of C is. So basically the key of C, or the C major scale, is a grouping of notes that sound really good to be played together. And you could also look at a key signature as kind of like the rule book for that specific key. So basically it tells us what notes we're allowed to play and what notes we are not allowed to play. That's another way that you could look at it, and that's one way that I like to explain it, especially for beginners. Now, down the road much further in your worship piano journey, you will learn that you can also break these rules. But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves and talk about that today. So let's talk about the notes that make up the C major scale or the key of C. So if you're looking at your piano, you're going to see we have a pair of 2 black keys and we have a pair of 3 black keys. We're going to go to this pair of 2 black keys and we're going to go to the white note right here before the pair of 2 black keys start. And this white note right before that set of 2 black keys is our C note, and that is where our C major scale or the key of C starts. And the notes in the scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So one more time, it is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we are back to C. So that is the key of C, also known as the C major scale. Now there is a particular fingering for when we play this scale, but we're really not going to get into that for this lesson because we just want to learn the key signature. I want to start teaching you guys some chords so that you can get playing some worship songs as quickly as possible. However, I did want to go ahead and mention I do have a free guide for you guys. So that is in the description below. And that actually does cover the fingering for every major scale in all 12 key signatures that there is in music. So make sure to grab that free PDF from the description below. But moving on, we're going to jump right back into taking a look at this C major scale. And what I want you guys to do is take your right hand and put it on the piano and put your finger number 1 right here on that C note before the set of 2 black keys, and just let the rest of your fingers just kind of rest into place in order. And what we're going to do is we're going to press down with finger number 1, and then we're going to press down with finger number 3 without pressing down finger number 2 and 4, which may be a little difficult at first, but you will definitely get the shape down. And then we're going to take finger number 5 and we're going to press that one down as well. And we're going to press them all together, and this is our C major chord, and then this is also our shape for forming the other chords in the key of C or the C major scale. And if we just hold this shape, we can actually just move it up and play completely through our scale, and that is actually all the chords that are in the key of C. So let's do that one more time together, and I'm going to name them as we go. So we have the first one, which we know is our C major chord. The second one is D minor. The third one is E minor. Then we have F major, G major, A minor, and then we have B diminished, which I know that one has a funny name. You've probably heard of major chords and minor chords, but some of you probably have not heard of a diminished chord before. It isn't used as often, especially in worship music, but it is still part of the team, so we definitely don't want to leave it out, and we do use it from time to time. So again, let's play through these chords one more time. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and again we have B diminished, and if we went up one more time, we'd be back to C major. And if we kept going, we would just rotate back through those chords in a higher octave range because the piano is a pattern that repeats itself over and over again. So again, like we started off with finding C, we have that pair of 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys. You're going to find that same pattern up and down the piano from the lower octave registers all the way up to the higher octave registers. So now we know the notes in our C scale. We know all of the chords within the key of C. So now let's talk about putting some chords together to do a song or to form a worship song and what that kind of looks like. So we're going to play C major, and then we're going to jump up here and we're going to play G major. Then we're going to jump up just one and play A minor, and then we're going to come back down and play F major. So again, one more time, we have C major, G major, A minor, and F major. So I know that when you're just starting off, you're trying to get this shape down, and kind of transitioning to those different spots can be a little bit difficult. One little tip and trick to help with this specific progression of chords is when you're playing your C major chord, your pinky or finger number 5 is already on G. So that can give you your visual cue so that when you jump, you're replacing finger number 1 where your pinky was before. And then once you're on this G major chord, you just go up 1 for the A minor, and then you just jump back down 1 below where you were for the G major chord for the F major chord. So this is what we would call a chord progression. And a chord progression is just simply any grouping of chords that we play in a particular sequence or in a particular progression, and that's where we get the name chord progression. And all worship songs have a chord progression that is the backbone of each section of that song. Within that chord progression and within the chords in that chord progression for each section of the song contains the melody of the song. The melody of a song is just simply the notes that are actually sung. So now that we've covered that, let's go back to our chord progression. Again, we have C major, G major, A minor, and F major. So this is a pretty common chord progression. It is used in a lot of worship songs, and it is one that you can use to learn to play a lot of worship songs. Even taking these chords and playing them in a different order, which would then become a different progression of those same chords. This is used in countless, probably thousands of different worship songs. So this little chord progression alone is going to go a long way in teaching you a lot of different worship songs. For example, this is also the chord progression for What a Beautiful Name It Is by Hillsong. Let's do a little bit of that song just as an example. So 1, 2. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ our King. So there is an example of that chord progression in action. So that song also does a little bit of a walk down though. From the A minor to the F, they add the G major chord back in on the way down. but the basic bones of that chorus is still the chord progression that we just went over. So C major, G major, A minor, and F major. And then when I did that example, you guys were probably like, whoa, what in the world did you just do with your left hand? So all I was doing with my left hand was following the chord progression that I'm playing with my right hand. And what I did is I simply just jumped down to a lower octave. And when I played a C major chord, I played a C with my left hand. When I played the G major chord, I was playing a G note with my left hand in a lower octave range. Same thing on the A minor, and same thing on the F major. Now, what I also did do is, instead of just playing one note, I played two C's, which is an octave. So I played two C notes in a lower octave range, two G notes in a lower octave range for the G major, two A notes for the A minor in a lower octave range, and the same thing for F major. Just starting off, what I recommend doing when you're trying to add in your left hand is just start off with one finger. That makes it a lot more simple. So there we have it. We have learned our finger numbers, you learned the C major scale, and you also learned all the chords in the key of C, and then you also learned a chord progression. So we learned the C major, G major, A minor, and F major chord progression, and then how that is used in a worship song, What a Beautiful Name by Hillsong. So we're going to dive into this much, much deeper and continue to build upon what we're learning here. So be looking out for part 2 in this beginner breakdown series, and we'll see you there. Hi friends, I hope you guys really enjoyed that lesson. Also, don't forget to click the link in the description and get your free PDF guide. Also, if you're ready to take the next steps into worship piano and you just don't really know where to begin, you have a desire and a passion for worship, and you just really want to learn, go to worshippiano.com and check out my brand new worship piano course, Basic Essentials and Foundations. I would love to see you there, and I would love to be a part of your journey with growing in worship piano. Thanks again, friends, and we'll see you again soon.